Today's podcast is brought to you by HLA Productions. Join the conversation on family law, true crime, and more with your host, me, Heavenlyleann Akers. Hey, everybody. Okay, so it's Talks with Heavenly, and I have my special guest here, which obviously, again, is Panda.
Hello.
So there's things that you guys know about me, and those are things that I have shared with you. Well, what if I told you that this person over here has known me, again, for 15 years? Mm-hmm. 15 years. Okay, I'm 31 years old. So how old was both of us when we first met? If I had my phone, I would do the math, but clearly I don't have that right now.
I'm honestly terrible at math, so I'm not any good with this either.
Right.
I know it was the middle of 2011. It was before...
I was 16.
Yeah, it was before Pride.
Yep. Okay, so I was 16 years old. Now, fast track a couple of years until I'm like 18, and I'm doing shows at Majestic. You go ahead. Because, like, here's the thing. Listen, nobody's perfect. But, okay, here we go. Okay.
So, at that time, Heavenly was doing shows at Majestic. And because we lived together, I would go and help with carrying the luggage, costumes, helping with makeup, keeping track of things.
And I'm going to insert some photos.
Oh, no.
Probably over here of not of her helping, but of some of the shows that I did and how I was dressed, essentially. We do have a term for this.
Yes, that would be drag bitch.
She said that, not me. But you get it. Okay, continue.
Yes. So at one of these shows, you had gotten ready for, I don't remember if it was the first performance or the second performance, because you usually did 2 or 3 depending on how many other performers were there.
Yes.
You had changed into your costume, your outfit, everything, and come to find out that you either hadn't packed or had run out of wig glue.
Yep.
And because it was so last minute, you couldn't ask another performer or anything. You decided to just say, screw it.
Screw it. The show must go on.
The show must go on. And you went out on stage.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I think it was like the middle of the performance, or like not even halfway to, like not even close to the middle of the performance.
Well, and here's the thing though, is like, I did shows since I was like 13, right? So like every drag queen has like a signature move that they do, right? Quote unquote signature move. Mine is I did really fast spins in 10-inch stilettos. And a lot of people referred to me as like, do you remember those toys from like the early 2000s, 90s, where you put like the doll on the thing, you pull the string.
Yeah, the Sky Dancer.
Yeah. And so a lot of people referred to me as that, like, oh, she's going to fly away. But to a lot of people, especially the audience, they were just like, oh, this person's spinning really fast in 10 inches, blah, 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 right?
Yeah,
okay.
It was a whole spectacle.
Right.
Well, you had started doing that in the middle of the show and everything. And lo and behold, the wig glue issue came back to bite you in the metaphorical ass.
Yes, it did.
And you proceeded to lose your wig.
Yep. Uh-huh.
And during that, I vaguely remember like you kind of like coming to a stop in the show, like,
Yep.
Oh. Then picking up the wig and just throwing it to me off the side of the stage.
Well, at that point, the show goes from, hey, this is, how do I put this? Like, there's performers that take their job on stage very seriously.
Yes.
And then there's those that are comedic.
Yes.
And then there's those that are like performance art. There's those that are theatrical, musical.
It's a whole range.
There's a whole range of entertainment when it comes to drag entertainers, right? So like with me, it was very much like, I danced, but the only time I became comedic was when there was something that happens, like a malfunction.
Yeah.
Like a wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah.
Which I had plenty of those back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We won't talk about some of the ones that I've had that literally were very exposing. But other than that, like, in that moment, it was like, well, screw it. I mean, the wig is off. There's nothing you could do. You can't go back in time.
Yeah.
So my only thought was get the wig off the ground, because if you walk on it, it's going to get tangled up in your shoe, and you're
possibly going to fall and hurt yourself.
Yeah, you're going to fall and hurt yourself, which later on, eventually, I did end up doing that because I screwed up my back. But yeah, no.
Yeah, and you finished the show without your wig on.
And wasn't I bald at that time?
You were bald at the time.
Yeah,
yes.
I was bald at the time because didn't we have wasn't it the Tainted Love Fetish Ball show?
Yes.
Yeah. So for the adult viewers, I had some extracurricular activity shows that are for the adult variety, and lovely Panda here was part of that experience. But I also did other shows, like I impersonated Marilyn Manson, aka Brian Warner.
Lady Gaga. You did Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga. On an occasion, sometimes Madonna. There was a few others, but mostly everybody knew me for Marilyn Manson, Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
But then Marilyn Manson kind of eventually took over and overshined my impersonation of Lady Gaga because there was a lot of stuff. Basically, I became, instead of like your performance art entertainer, it was like I was your political activist performer, to say the least.
Yeah, and a little bit of shock and awe too, depending on what you were doing in the performance.
Well, because I mean, my thought is like, for any person that's, if you're a drag entertainer, you should know that, like, if you think about like entertainment, right? Like, let's say you're watching like a soap opera. Well, you have to have something to keep your audience engaged. And some of those for performers is like, gags, essentially, like doing like a magic trick or the splits or a high kick or, jumping off the stage into a split or using props or being political. There's a lot of stuff. Like, prime example, you remember the Marilyn Manson show that I did where you and I believe Felicia, my mom, and one other person was there. Yes. And I threw out, it was a very political performance because at the time, gay marriage had been passed in the U.S., and we had a person that was a marriage license certificate lady that worked at the courthouse. She was denying marriage certificates to LGBT couples. And as a result, she actually got put in prison for denying a constitutional right to same-sex marriage. Yeah. And I took her mugshots. You remember what I did? I took her mugshots and I printed out hundreds and hundreds of her mugshots. And during the Marilyn Manson performance, I did a very particular song, which I'm not going to name on here, and for a lot of various reasons. I did that song, and I had a book that was kind of like an oversized binder or like Bible or whatever. Which, do you remember the prop that I have? The flame? Yes. Okay. So basically, see, props. So I had that binder and I took all those pages out. I mean, a good chunk of her mugshots, and just threw them up into the audience like it was freaking confetti. And people went nuts. I mean, like, they went crazy over it. I mean, it was great. It was fantastic. I mean, other than using, like, occasionally, like, fake blood or something like that. for props. And then like the one prop that I just mentioned. Do you remember? I don't know if you were there for that.
I don't think I was there, but I remember seeing.
So you weren't there the time I almost caught myself on fire?
Yeah, no, I wasn't there, but I remember seeing, because everybody records everything in a show anyway and is posted. But I remember seeing one of the videos that posted. Yeah. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So my thing is, okay, so I had a prop, and you can buy these, but like it is a remake of the original prop that Brian Warner used in his Golden Age of Grotesque tour. And it is basically, it's a flaming Bible. So for anybody that may be offended by that, sorry that you're offended. I'm offended that you're offended. My thought is like, this is a performance. Mm-hmm. It is a political message. Mm-hmm. It is and generally take it how it is, right? Well, this was like my third time ever using this prop. Mm-hmm. And this prop had good success. I mean, people saw it, they didn't realize what it would do. They thought it was like an actual Bible. Yeah. Well, on the inside of it, like it has like a piece of cloth that you would put basically lighter fluid on it. Mm-hmm. And then it has like a small compartment for a battery. And then there's a button at the very bottom end of the book. Mm-hmm. You close it, and then the fumes from the lighter fuel would build up in this compartment that looks like a little tiny box. Mm-hmm. And then you slightly open it to allow oxygen. You hit that button, and the spark ignites the fuel, which also ignites the fabric that's there with the lighter fuel. Yeah. Well, we had this one show out in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. And I think it was at River Bend's Floats, and it was camping with drag queens. And I was invited by, Josie Lee Terrell, Sasha Kavalinsky, and a few other people that I've worked with here recently this past Halloween. And we were having a great time. And I remember Sasha was like, "Oh, are you doing Marilyn Manson?" Blah, 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 because they really liked it. Yeah. And I was like, "Yeah, well, I'm bringing my props and stuff." Mm-hmm. And she said, "Okay." And I didn't tell her which one. Oh. And when she saw it, she was like, "Well, I can't do anything now. It's too late. Blah, blah, blah. Your music's already started." Mm-hmm. I mean, what were they going to do? Run out on stage and snatch it out of my hand? Right. So I sit there, and the part of the song comes up. I take it out from underneath. I had a kind of like a back satchel underneath like my jacket, where I basically custom made this thing to where I could like slip it in so I could have it on me, so I could just reach behind my coat, grab it, and pull it out. Yeah. And I pulled it out, and whenever I did, I accidentally hit the button. And whenever I hit the button, I felt the heat. And because the music is so loud, your adrenaline is going, all this kind of stuff. I had no idea that my whole backside was on fire. Mm-hmm. Okay. So next thing I remember was like thinking, "Oh, wait, we have a fog machine." No. Somebody was running up with a fire extinguisher and was blowing it on my back. Yeah. And because I had a latex button up top and a heavy coat, tails coat, suit top on top of that, including those huge platinum boots, like the platform boots literally are like that big. Yeah. I thought nothing of it until I took my coat off and saw the hole. And then the adrenaline wore off, and I had a good sized burn on my back. Yeah. And I think that was the last time I used that. And now for those that are out there that are like, "Oh, well, it's probably a sign that you shouldn't be using it." Just be aware, I've been offered to use it again, and I probably will. So the thing is, though, is like, just for anybody that does fire, techniques. Do you know Susie Spector? Yes. Okay. Another well-known performer here in Oklahoma. She does pyrotechnics, right? She started doing it here recently. She blows fire. She has like these personally made like iron pipes that have like these huge cotton things on the side. So she rolls them and does like these huge fire shows. Oh, wow. they're outstanding. But these are all underground shows because most venues will not allow pyrotechnics inside their clubs. Remember? Because even at Majestic, they told me no because of insurance.
Yep.
So it was like, okay, well, can't do that. Because remember the one time we did the what was it? The hot wax?
Yes.
Yeah, we were in Oklahoma City, remember?
Yes.
And you were okay. That was an embarrassing moment because, like, it was what you, me, Travis, Emily, and you and Emily pulled the ropes on my wrist.
Yeah.
And remember, it like cut the circulation off to my hands so bad that you guys had to cut the rope off.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was supposed to be a simple where it just slid over your wrist and that was it.
Yep.
And somehow it basically turned into a slip knot.
Yeah, it turned into.
And it just kept getting tighter and tighter
Yep.
because of the way you were pulling to the music and
Yep.
everything. It just kept getting tighter and tighter.
Well, and that performance is still on YouTube, by the way. So you're in that video.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I remember that because for a couple of days, my hand had the most worst like pinching pain ever. So my thought is like, if you do drag, you could do it comfortably, but like if you want to be, I guess, you don't have to do crazy things to be successful.
Yeah.
But if you do, it jump starts you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To a different level. So besides rambling and getting into all that stuff, was there not any other stuff that like, what was, okay, example, because I know somebody out there is probably going to ask this. What was your most fondest or crazy experience with me to date?
To date? Oof. That's a tough one.
I can think of one.
What?
The time that my ex basically almost left us in Dallas.
Yeah, no, that was
sorry, but it was a shit show.
Yeah, it was a shit show. You went down there to perform it at the church.
Yep.
And we had gone down. It was a kind of like a last minute booking.
Yep.
And everything. You had gotten CDs ready. And we went down there, got down there. Something happened with the reservation with the hotel we were at.
Yep.
And
No. Wait. No, what it was is that the person that we were with, he said, okay, because here's a little backstory. The person that we were with was somebody that I dated a long time ago. He wanted to be quote unquote friends, remember? Mm-hmm. And he kept asking you how he could get back in good faith with me. And you kept telling him, Heavenly's not going to do this. Like Heavenly wants no part of this. Like she only wants to be friends. There's nothing else to it. Good luck. It's not happening.
Yeah.
It's done. It's over with. He had said like he was graciously going to pay.
He was going to pay for the hotel stay, hotel for all of us to stay down there.
Yeah, that was the whole reason why I even accepted the booking, was because he said that he was going to take care of it.
Yeah, the hotel prices were obviously outrageous.
Yep.
And he's like, okay, we'll go down there. I'll pay for the hotel. Don't worry about it. You guys just worry about food. And if you wanted to buy anything down there, because we'd planned to go to the mall.
Yep.
And everything. And we get down there to the hotel that was...
which, by the way, I still have all the pictures from down there.
Yeah, that was booked. It wasn't booked, was it? We just showed up.
Yeah, no. So he said, okay, so I remember even just like starting the trip was ridiculous because
it started off bad.
Yeah, because he wanted to take the back road all the way down to Dallas, which would have taken us almost 10 hours.
Yeah.
And then I was like, why don't we just take the turnpike? Like, I'll, pay for the tolls.
Well, he picked me up and everything because we weren't living together at the time. He picked me up. And then we went out to your place where you were staying with your grandparents and everything. Yeah. And we're getting everything together. And as soon as we were getting on the road, he's like, I need to put gas in the car. I need to put gas in the car.
Yeah, so immediately there was like problems right off the bat. It was like, oh, well, I can't pay for gas, or I can't do this, or I can't do
His
that.
paycheck hadn't come in yet, and he
Yeah.
would pay us back.
So it was like excuse after excuse after excuse.
Yeah, so the first time I put gas in the car when we were going, like actually starting out, and I
Yep.
think we stopped to get lunch and everything, and I think you paid for the second portion of putting gas in the car.
Yep.
And by the time we got down there, it was already after dark. The hotel we were supposed to be already booked for and everything. He went in to go see where we were going to stay, because it was one of those where kind of like a motel where you walk in from the outside
Yep.
and everything. And so we had parked. He went in, came back, said something was wrong.
Yeah, I don't remember what his. I don't remember what
I know
his
he had an
excuse-
issue because they had no smoking rooms and
Yep.
we weren't allowed to smoke on the balcony even.
Well, and he was. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I'm a smoker, but like, he wanted a smoking room.
Yeah.
And I was just like, why? Like, it's like. We're not. It's not like we're staying at the hotel the entire time we're here. We're gonna be out and doing stuff. I think it was like what, like April. It was around the summertime.
Yeah.
But it was just like one thing after another, and it just got to that point to where like help. Even the night that we went out to S4 in Dallas, he kept trying to make like advances towards me. Do you remember all that? And it just kept getting progressively annoying. So eventually this whole trip turned into just
A big shit show. Like
Yeah.
when we left that hotel, went to another one. Somehow he picked out a more expensive hotel that
Yep.
was like almost $200 a night.
which was ridiculous.
And at that point, he's like, it's fine. I'll pay you back. My paycheck hasn't
Yeah.
come in yet. All this kind of stuff.
Yep.
And I've footed the bill for the first night
Yeah.
and everything. And
At some point, he drained us financially to the point that we had to seek assistance from our families. And then he made promises to pay our family back, and he never did.
no.
So, I mean, it just got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. But I don't think I even ended up doing the show at the Rose Room, or not at the Rose Room, but at the church because of everything that was going on.
No, you did.
Oh, I did?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I remember because we were up in the upper area.
Yeah, the upper part of the church.
Yeah, because you did the performance down on the bottom on the stage.
Yeah.
And then afterward, we went upstairs to get a drink and just sit down and relax.
Yeah.
So we did go to the church. I believe that was closer to the last night we were there.
Yep.
Because we went to S4 first.
Uh-huh.
And, yeah, it was...
I can hear Archer laughing. He's in the room with Daniel, and I can hear him laughing. Okay.
But yeah,
Continue.
it was a whole shit show. Like, Heavenly knows me, has been around me for a long time.
Yep.
Knows I have certain issues and everything. It got to the point where it was so bad, like, I started having a breakdown.
Yeah.
You were having to pay for my food,
Yeah.
everything.
And it just got progressively, or it got to the point like where it was just like, it almost became like a hostage situation because he had the vehicle.
Yeah.
So it was like, what were we supposed to do?
Well,
you
at
know?
one point when we were out at S4, I believe, he
That's
straight up
right.
left us.
Yeah, no, he straight up left us and he went home with somebody.
Yeah, he
And that was the reason why I was like, why would I want to get back with him?
yeah.
And
we
then-
had to take an Uber from S4 back to the hotel we
Yep.
were staying at. We didn't know he had left. We were trying to find him
Yep.
and everything, only to come to find out later
Yep.
after like
He went and basically
multiple-
hooked up with somebody.
Yeah, like multiple calls, multiple text messages.
Yep.
He had gone back to the hotel without us.
Yep. He went back to the hotel that we were all sleeping in and took a guy back there with him. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you want to talk about good / interesting experience,
Oh yeah.
there you go. Like
That was definitely a memorable one.
memorable in the sense that like we both survived.
We could have been left in down in Texas.
Which, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, if we would have been left down there, like, I knew plenty of performers and people that could have helped us. Now, get us home?
Yeah.
No. Give us somewhere to sleep until we could? Yes.
Yeah.
But the situation was just so, like, I just remember thinking to myself, like, just even the ride down there was like, this feels like a bad idea.
Yeah, it really, really was.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then
we had awkward stops anytime we stopped to go to the bathroom.
Yep.
Or get food.
Yep.
Like, there were points where we couldn't play. He didn't want us to play certain music.
Oh, yeah. No, he was...
Like, complete control of everything, and it was bad.
He became a complete control freak, which now this probably tells you all why this person and me did not work out. So yeah, I mean, the experiences between you and I mean, like, even us, like, living together versus, like, I mean, you've known me through, and I mean, like, hell, I have stories about you and everything, but I mean, rightfully so. We have stories about each other, but we've also have always come right back. Like, I mean, just like true, either like family or friends, we've had falling outs.
Yeah.
But then we come right back. And that's something that, like, you can't really beat anywhere else. Like, my thought is like, I've explained this to my children, or especially my oldest one that can understand it.
Yeah.
Is that people are like trees. And I know somebody out there is going to say, like, oh, this reminds me of Tyler Perry. You know, people are like trees. You know, some people, they come and go with the seasons, like the leaves. And some people are like branches. They stay for a while, and sometimes they break off. But then there's those that are like the roots of that tree. They grow and they stick around.
Yep.
Unless they get a disease. But, you know, I mean, okay, like, here's the thing. But you understand the metaphor.
Yeah.
The metaphor is that there's all different types of people that are going to come in and out of your life. And, you know, I think I explained this to my eldest was, you know, she was talking about how, like, there's certain people at her school that she misses and stuff, and that she hopes that she'll be friends with forever. And instead of just, you know, being the blunt person that you know that I can be, which is good luck with that. It's, hey, some people are like trees, you know, people are like, you know, they'll come and go with the seasons. They'll break off like limbs, or you never know. Maybe they'll be the root of your tree and they'll stick around forever.
Yeah.
You never know. But I don't know. I grew up into a tree, and then my seeds kept breaking off and growing into other little things. And now I've got 3 other trees growing around me. Yay. So, yeah. And I've got squirrels going everywhere, and one of them happens to be my husband. So, I mean, he keeps me groomed. He's good. He's good. Anyways, so we're at 28 minutes. If you've made it to this point, thank you for sticking around. If you can, please like and share. Thank you for joining us on Talks with Heavenly with my special guest, Panda. Which, by the way, if you guys ever wanted to know, she's the reason I have this tattoo right here. She can actually tell you quite a bit about my tattoo adventure. She was there for you were there for my chest tattoo.
I was there for your chest tattoo.
Yep.
I'm the one who actually did the heart on your hand and a couple other tattoos.
Yep.
That was my first experience with ever doing that.
Yep. And then, oh, by the way, and for some of you all that sit there and say, like, oh, well, who did all your tattoos? Most of my tattoos were done by me. She did the one on my hand, and the one on my neck and my chest was done professionally. Do I ever recommend that you go out and buy a tattoo gun and just do it yourself? No. But if that's something you want to do, you know what? I'll support you as long as you're just doing it ethically. Just ethically. Just be sanitary, okay? Just try to, like, skin infections are not cute, okay?
No.
But anyways, I love you guys. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.